Hi and welcome back. Alright, so it's interesting to know the background of histograms, but what about creating histograms? So that's really what we want to get to. So let's have a bit of a look at that now. Excel is genuinely a nightmare to create a histogram in. There are some features in the data analysis pack that you can play around with, but trust me, if you actually want to create a proper histogram that you would be comfortable with presenting in a scientific paper or your scientific work, you are not going to get there with Excel. So what we're going to be using is we're going to have our data in Excel, and then we're going to create our histogram in R. And I cannot emphasize how much easier it is to create a histogram in R than it is in Excel. So what are we going to do here? So we're going to have some file. The first thing that we're going to know is about getting our data in from Excel into R. All right, and I'm just sort of highlighting here that you can see my data and they've got the .csv extension. So instead of saving your file as an Excel file or an XLSX file, which is probably for most of you the convention that you use for your Excel files, you're going to save it as a CSV file. And you can see there's a mix of files in my drive. So some of them are core data files and some of them that I have taken the specific data I want to use and I've saved it as this .csv file. So you need to be able to change the way that you save data. So you need to be able to go from Excel and change it to a CSV file. Now the way that you do that, it's just in the save as options. So you can see when you go to save a file in Excel, all of these various options come up, one of which is .csv, and as long as you can select that, you'll be fine. You might get some crazy message saying, yes, some features are not available in if you save it as a CSV file. That is true, some features are not available. For example, you cannot have multiple tabs in your file, but we don't want multiple tabs. So we're quite happy to have CSV files, and that's what I want you to use when you want to read data into R from Excel. Now let's just have a look at the notation we use. So this is where it really, you're starting to learn about how you need to set up management of your workflow. So we've got our Excel file called Wingspan Mails and we've saved it as a CSV file. How we need to get it into R is we need to give the file a name, just like you needed to give it a name in Excel, you need to give it a name in R. So I've called it Wingspan, and you need to specify the command that you want to apply. In this case, it's the read.csv command, and then you need to tell it which file to get. So we're going to get in our object, and it's going to be an object in R, and it's going to have a data column that's going to be called mails. And you can see there, that's what the data looks like in my CSV file. So let's just look through these steps in a little bit more detail. So reading the data in. So what have we got here? We've got an object. We're going to create an object. That's the name we give the file. You can think of it the same way as naming all the files that you save. You've got the R function that you apply, and you've got the source data that you want to extract. So it's read, apply the read function, so read the data into R, and that's really what we want to be doing. Now once you've read the data into R, you need to check it, and you need to see what's going on. So the way that we check the data is that we use the str function. So the str function stands for structure. So this says apply the R function structure to the object that I've saved in R, which is called Wingspan, and then it will give me some output when I apply this function. And it tells me that it's a data frame, so that's just one format of data. There are 87 observations, and there's one variable, so one column of data. And then it tells me a bit about that one column of data. It's called mails. It's a numerical variable, so we can see there are different types of variables. We might get factors, integers, numbers. So in this case, it's telling me this data is a numerical variable, and it's telling me the first few values of it. So I can see, yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted this data to be in R. And then the third thing I do is I create a histogram. And we've got through all the hard work actually. Now we just create the histogram. So again, we have to apply two functions here. Because you can have many data sets in R, we use the with function. So we say with the R object Wingspan. So that's what all right, for the rest of the commands that follow are going to be applied to the Wingspan object. I now want to apply the histogram function, which in R is denoted HIST, and within, I specifically want to apply the histogram function to the column males. So I could have had males and I could have had multiple variables in this data set. So I have to specify which column I want to apply the function histogram to in the object Wingspan. So that's the whole busy slide here, very busy slide. I'll try and avoid such color, it might be hurting your eyes. So let's skip through and say, if all that was a problem, we have two sources that you can consult for this. So I've paired off all of this data on how to use R. So you've got this how to create a histogram in R guide. So this is just the relevant thing. So if you wanted just that handout, you can have that. And that gives you all of the information here. So it's got a sample data and it's showing you what comes through and how to apply it. So these are handouts. So these guys here are handouts that you'll see in the LMS in the relevant section that lists all of these, and you can just grab that exact thing that you want. Your alternative is to just use the 2017 version of this material where I've compiled everything into a book for you. And so you can see that it's all indexed now, and hopefully it will show this way for you, and you can go to the histogram section. So you can keep all of your required, reference material for what you're going to be doing in this document, and you can refer to it. So you can save this wherever you're doing your work and jump into the histogram section and refresh yourself with what you need for a histogram. Or if you wanted to say print something out for just the class, you could just print out the specific histogram handout. And that's a good time for a break.